Hello, everyone. If you guys are rewatching this from sometime in the future, you can go ahead and fast forward a little bit because I do like to give everyone a handful of minutes to kind of get everything set up before they jump in here. Cool. We do have some exciting stuff to go over today, but again, I just want to give everyone a handful of minutes to kind of get set up before they jump in here. Again, if you guys are rewatching this sometime in the future, I usually do twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday, usually around 10 to 10:30 a.m. or around this time, 1 to 1:30, just so I can kind of catch people at different times of the day, depending on your availability. But if you're new here, basically how this works is I can cover anything you want regarding Ezoic, how Ezoic works, what Ezoic stands for, what do we do. You can ask about me and my journey with Ezoic. We can talk about new features like Niche IQ. We can talk about Flickify, Humix. You can ask a question about your specific setup and issues you're having. I can share my screen and troubleshoot live for you. I can set up your ads and share my screen live. I can set up your lead for you. I'm really going to leave this time, pretty open. Again, there are a couple things that I want to go over, but you guys can just ask questions directly in the comment section. If you want me to go over something specific with your domain, comment your domain and let me know if it's also okay. I can share it, and I'll go ahead and I'll share my screen and get things set up. But as we move into Q4 pretty rapidly, I think there are some really vital and important things to go over. So I wanted to do that for today's basically agenda, prepare for Q4. But yeah, so again, we're just going to give everyone a couple more minutes. But if you guys are in here and you want to start asking questions, you can say, "Hey Charlie, this is my question," or "Hey Charlie, not a question. I just want you to go through my site and just make sure everything's dialed in. Just let me know your domain name, and I can for sure do that. I can share my screen and say, "Hey, look." And even if you don't want to share your screen and say, "Hey Charlie, can you go over a placeholder setup?" I can definitely do that, and I can just say, "Hey, maybe you can just follow along from your side." These are the really high performing ads that we normally suggest publishers to use. These are kind of your best practices, things to look for. We can troubleshoot EPMB changes, EPMB dips. We can really go over whatever you guys want. But yeah, we'll give everyone like another 60. We'll give everyone like another 2-3 minutes. Looks like some more people just joined in. Um, if you guys don't know me, so my name is Charlie. I'm from the Access Now onboarding team. My formal title is publisher advocate. So basically, I'm going to be put in a position where I can do anything in my power to help you guys succeed, whether that's figure out new products for you guys to use, show you guys exactly how to use them, or simply troubleshoot issue you guys are having. So really, this time can be used in any way you guys would like or find most beneficial. If you guys don't have any specific questions, I can go through some of the community ones and talk about the general topics and questions we see, and that way we can go from there. But again, I really wanted to focus on basically the things to basically do now to ensure you're set up for success when Q4 comes around, because that is when the ad rates are going to increase, and you want to make sure that you're basically reaping all the benefits of that. Um, Marketing is or advertising is a billion-dollar industry. It's really going to go crazy and rampant over the next month and a half or so, basically to the end of the holiday season. So there's a lot of things that we can do, whether you're writing new content or not, or just things we can work on with your existing content to make sure that you are earning more when the ad rates do increase. Cool. And we only have a couple people in here, and that's totally fine. But it does give me more time to go through, specific things if you wanted me to set them up for you. All right, we'll give it like 60 more seconds and then we'll really jump into this. Actually, let's just jump into it now. There's no questions so far, which is totally fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically give you a quick rundown of the quote unquote best practices or things to look for in your dashboard and on your pages to make sure that you are set up for Q4. So I do have an example of a site right here. Let me pull it up for you guys. Cool. So the first thing that I like to look at, I just like to check out, my cache hit rate and my score for Core Web Vitals. Core Web Vital scores are important for, Google search ranking. So ensuring that these scores are good will be basically setting yourself up for success. LCP has been a major concern and support recently from a lot of you guys, basically saying, my LCP scores are hurting. What can I do to improve it? Well, I can show you how to troubleshoot this and show you the things to look for to improve it. But there actually is a direct correlation with your cache hit percentage and your LCP scores. So having a higher cache hit rate will be in turn correlated with a higher LCP score. So if you're seeing that your LCP scores are pretty low for both desktop and mobile, one of the things I'll always say is what is your cache hit rate at, and what are your settings showing. So of course I was saying, let's talk about EPMV and those things because we're talking about earnings to go into Q4. But I wanted to give you guys just a quick rundown of basically how I would kind of analyze this lower LCP score. It's showing 61 out of 100, which is still okay, but it can definitely use some improvement. So as you guys can see on the homepage, we have these recommendations right here. And basically what this is going to be is Leap is designed to basically flag any technology or features or plugins enabled on your site that are hindering site speed from an unbiased perspective. So if something is hindering site speed, either just a little bit or a lot, that will be flagged right here. And not only that, I'll say, MailChimp is causing a moderate impact to your performance. 37% of domains using this technology perform significantly worse than the average site. So you might say, okay, cool, you flagged that this isn't great. Well, we also have this view alternatives. You're saying, hey, this is a feature that I really need and works well for me. You can click on view alternatives and say, hey, look, we can find some things that are free. We can find some things that are cost money, but these are actually technologies that have the same function, but also are a lot faster for site speed. And if there are things that are getting flagged that are just super essential to your setup and you don't want to remove them, that's totally okay. Leap is just designed to flag things that are hindering site speed. So if we wanted to go into this a touch more, we can see your LCP scores over a little bit of time frame, because Leap does analyze real user data. So the changes you make in Leap today might not reflect in the scores directly, because we're going to need time to actually have real users visit the pages, and that way we can analyze those visits and report the scores. So you can see that this publisher actually made changes on the 1st of November, and then those changes did actually help with site speed scores and LCP, which is why you kind of see this gradual downslope here. So these will be the effect of the changes that you made in your actual settings. Another really cool thing you can do once you click through LCP, you'll actually find a list of all your pages that are scoring very poorly. And then we can click this button right here and say test an Ezoic lab. What this will do, this will basically take a lab type setting and scan your pages for you. It'll go through a bunch of things from your jQuery to your root server response time to all the technologies getting flagged to what actually is the element on the page that is causing the biggest hindrance to speed, whether it's an image or an H1. And it'll basically say, these are all the technologies or features that you have enabled through Leap. And then it'll also tell you in the second column, basically, these are the ones that we would say and encourage you to enable to actually increase site speed. So you're getting basically full transparency on the page of what's hindering site speed. It'll give you what your real users are actually seeing on your pages. And then thirdly, it'll actually give you the tools and the steps to improve these scores. There's an error loading. Let's try that one again. Maybe because I clicked away. If this gives me an error message again, I can actually show you another really cool way you can actually analyze your pages. Again, if this doesn't work, but let's just give this another second. I'm curious, for those of you who are in here now, where are you guys checking in from? I'm currently here in San Diego. If you guys can see a little bit of the sun behind me, hopefully you can. I was here on Tuesday and it was pouring rain. It was nasty. I wasn't feeling it great. Maybe it was partly because of the weather or just because I'm soft. But it's a beautiful sunny day in San Diego right now. So I'm here at our Carlsbad office. But this is actually so what it's going to look like. So, it's going to flag this element right here. It's going to say, look, your H1 is the element on the page that is creating the biggest hindrance to your LCP scores. It's going to say, look, you have all of these features enabled, but you don't have these ones enabled, which will improve LCP. So it's giving you, again, a full analysis of the page. It's giving you the technologies that are hindering tight speed and also the healthy alternatives to use. It's telling you the features that you are using, and it's telling you the features that you should be enabling. Not only on top of that, but it'll tell you reduce and use JavaScript, ensure text remains visible during web font load. I can look into that a little bit more. Let's see. Fonts G static, but it's only 5 milliseconds. So that's basically how it'll work from here. I want to show you another way you can do this. So if I just want to copy this, let's open this in a new tab. So what I can actually do here is I can find my Ezoic Chrome extension in the top corner. I can go to Leap over here on the right. I can click on this. And then look, again, it'll tell me some of the technologies right here getting flagged. Needs improvement, AdSense, that's okay. I can actually debug my CDN so I can see if this page is actually getting a cache hit or a cache miss. Again, that's something that's going to be really important for LCP scores. Cache hit detected, that's beautiful. It's going to tell me all of my cache settings down here at the bottom. These all look really great. This should probably be on yes, and this should also be on true or yes. But again, if we go back here, I can say, look, LCP now is doing pretty well. There's a cache hit. That could have just been from the analysis I ran on the old page, which is why you see a little bit of a variance. CLS is getting stuck here. I can highlight my top unstable elements, but I don't want to mess anything with this because this is not my domain. This is a domain of another publisher. Again, I can go through the technology, and that's basically how I'd flag it from there. Okay, now that I've gone off the rails a little bit, let's jump back into what I should be looking for in terms of EPMV and optimizing my EPMV. So you'll find all your ads, configuration features and settings all under Ezoic ads. From there, I can see, I have some placeholders that were generated through one of our Chrome extension. You can see all those there. I can see my optimization goals. Currently, it's unbalanced. This will basically be the healthiest balance between user experience and solid revenue. You can change this to revenue focus, which might portray an ad or two or three or more, depending on a handful of elements. But you can also click user experience focus. That might test 1, 2, or 3 less ads on a page, depending on a handful of factors. You can go into ad types. So if you were going through this and you're saying, I want to be revenue focused, I actually would suggest keeping this on default, even if you are purely revenue focused, just so you do kind of keep in mind and consideration the user experience on the page, because that is, what is most important. Next, I can go through all my ad types. So look, I have native ads on, vignette is off. You can enable these if you would like. That will, help create some good revenue. We have AI placeholders on, enhanced placeholders are on. That's beautiful. Anchor ads are on. We can go into the settings here. Sticky sidebars on, floating videos on, and beta formats is also on. So this is a really good setup in terms of actually on the website itself or in the dashboard itself. Another thing I want to go through here is that if you guys are using AdSense prior or currently, if you're split testing, it's really important that you do link your AdSense and enable mediation for your own benefit, not from a business standpoint, but this will set you guys up for success because it's going to ensure that you're earning as much as possible for each inventory spot or each ad location on your page. Basically, what this allows our software to do is it's going to allow AdSense to basically bid against Ezoic for one of your ad spots. So if you have this enabled and AdSense pays more for this spot or this inventory, you'll be basically making sure that you're earning as much as possible. So again, you can link your AdSense account. This really helps because it basically allows our AI to further learn your site quicker. So it kind of serves as a catalyst to success. So sorry, that's where you link it, and then this is where you can actually import your AdSense data, which will then, further advance our AI's learning. Of course, you want to make sure your ads.txt is set up. This is probably all set up already. If you have any direct ad orders, that we would do it here. But that's basically how it'll look from the dashboard. So I want to show you guys basically what I would look for on the pages itself. This is basically where we're going to go over some of our placeholder settings. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to go a different route. The best thing you guys should do is go back to the dashboard. We're going to find the analytics tab right here. And in the left-hand side, you guys are going to see content. When we go to content, you can actually find this what is the word I'm looking for? This page right here, which is going to be your landing pages. This will basically organize all of your pages from most frequently visited to least frequently. So that way you can go through your top landing page and dial in your placeholders there. Because if the majority of your traffic is going to one page, it would be very important that that one page is fully set up and dialed in. So I would say find this report, go to your analytics, find content, the landing pages, and I would go through at least the top 3 to 5 landing pages to make sure all of them are dense with placeholders. There's a high variability of placeholders. You have your sidebar, you have your bottom of page, you have all those set up. But let's go to the top landing page right here. Cool. UK VHF frequencies and usage. So once I'm actually on the page here, I'm going to enable the Chrome extension like this. I'm going to go to view and activate placeholders so that way I can actually see where they've all been added. This will give you a really good idea of the potential locations that ads can show. So this BTC bottom of the page, I'm not sure why it's being attached to the top right here, but at least when we actually loaded the page, it was showing at the bottom. Really important that you guys have, if you guys have sidebar content, you will have a top sidebar, and you also want to have a sidebar bottom because this will actually flow with the page if the video does not. But I would go through to make sure that you guys definitely have a top of the page and a bottom of the page. And then you want to make sure that throughout the entire article here, you have plenty of ads showing. So this is actually a decent setup, but it definitely could use a little bit of love here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go through and create and add some. So I'm just going to go from ads to create. From there, I can just hit select location. This will allow me to just basically click on here. Like if I wanted to add a placeholder to the bottom of this P element, I could simply just wait for this to load. We'll give it a second. See if I have any questions. So sorry if this has been asked before. I cannot get my videos that I created and on Humix to list on my video sitemap. I currently use Rank Math to create sitemaps. So it should be added through the page directly. If the page, sorry, I'm sharing my screen. It's creating this vortex. If you are using Rank Math, just to make sure you have no caching on it because it should pull the videos from your video sitemap into your, sorry, I'm just trying to see if I could actually troubleshoot this live for you guys just to see this, but I won't have access to your Google Search Console. But this will take a little bit of investigation on my end. Like I'll have to kind of go into this, pretty deeply. So if you wanted to give me your domain name in the comment section, I could actually look into this to make sure everything's set up correctly on your end. I can either share my screen or not. I can also just send this over to the video team and they can double check to make sure everything's set up. But I would make sure you have no caching enabled on your sitemaps, because if you add videos to your pages and it's being cached, then your newest versions of your pages won't be showing in your sitemap, and then they won't get crawled. So that would kind of be a reason for that. But again, just let me know your domain name if possible, and I'd be more than happy to pull it up from there. Back to here. So I'm gonna actually go through again, and let's create a placeholder just in the locations where we think we should be able to. So I'm seeing a good bit of real estate right here. So I'm actually gonna add a placeholder to this P tag. The reason why I do it to the P tag is because these placeholders that you add to pages will find similar locations on other pages. And if I attach this placeholder to a P element, this P element most likely will be found on other pages because it is just text. So that way it will transfer over to other pages successfully. If I were to add it to some random div or an ID that's specific to this page and it's not on other pages, then this placeholder would not transfer to other pages as well. We have a mid content 1. I just want to make sure I'm not creating any as a mid content 2. So let's do mid content 3 for this page. Again, if you guys are unfamiliar, placeholders, if you add more, that does not mean more ads will show. Basically what this means is, more placeholders basically means that there are more variations for our AI to test. The more variations our AI has to test, the better the user experience will be, because you have a better setup of your ad layout for each user, and the better the user engagement is for each user, the better you will see A, engagement, and B, revenue, because we do calculate earnings off EPMB. So if you're driving really good engagement and having a really good user experience on your pages, then your return of revenue will be really good. So I would do that for, I did that for one page, but I would go through the rest as well, and I would go through your top 5 landing pages. Especially if you want to filter and pull this, you can pull your EPMV from the right side here, and you can say, hey, look, this page has a $32 EPMV, so this placeholder setup is probably dialed in. Of course, there's a couple other things to look at, and over here, you can see that the engagement is really good on this page. The bounce rate is really solid. It's earned great revenue off it. But I could go through and say, hey, look, you know what? This one only has a $16 EPMV. Maybe we could go through and dial in this one as well, just to make sure that each page is fully set up and optimized. So that's what I would say is your best plan of action right now, in terms of setting up for Q4. I want to show you a couple other things to look for in the dashboard that could really hurt EPMV if you're not careful. One of the major things is our actually objectionable content filter. And what this will do is this will find any words that have, any pages that have inappropriate words on them. If there are inappropriate words getting flagged, we won't have any ads showing. So if you have any pages here that are getting flagged, it'll show the URL, it'll show you the words that are getting flagged, it'll tell me how many visits have been, when it was last reported, and the link to it as well. So you want to go through and make sure that those pages they do have those words removed. If you're sitting there saying, I write like children's book content, there's no way one of my words is going to be bad. Well, for instance, I've seen this in the past, if you don't actually manage your comments, sometimes a comment can actually get flagged on the page. And so again, if your comments are unmanaged or you're not checking them regularly, and if someone were to go in and write an inappropriate word, now that comment section that someone added to the page is going to hinder the fact that ads won't be able to show. So that's definitely something to look out for as well. On top of that, you can actually go and look through all your error pages as well. And all these pages are actually seeing errors. Thankfully, these are just JPEGs, images, and random files. So these are all good. These have actually all been taken care of already. Again, I can refine the date because they were fixed earlier today. So if I were to refine the date, which I can't yet for today, you would see that there are no error pages on this domain anymore. So this is a really good way to ensure that you're not, there's nothing that you've done in the past that is now, setting up for kind of a hindrance in performance. Probably the last thing I would say as well, as I would say, just send your traffic to 100%. You're just giving our AI more data and more variables to test, so it's going to learn your site quicker. Your users are going to have a better experience faster. and your revenue will really shoot up over time. There is a correlation between more time kind of on our platform and the better your revenue will be. Of course, it hits kind of a limit after a certain amount of time, but especially at the beginning, when our AI has no information on your visitors, it will take a couple months, especially in the Access Now program, to basically fully dial in and optimize your setup. Hi, Ezoic and Google Ad are displayed at the same time on my blog. Can you set this up for me? Yes, I actually can do this for you right now to make sure that it is not. But for you guys that are saying, hey, I might actually have AdSense ads showing along Ezoic ones, this is for sure something that we want to dial in and make sure it's settled, because if you have AdSense ads showing on a page alongside Ezoic ones, that means your users are probably getting a few too many ads, and it's going to hurt your user engagement and revenue over time. So this is a great thing to flag. And if you're thinking, hey, Charlie, this could be me as well, either let me know right now and I can literally just solve this for you before I carry on. Or if you're rewatching this, just go to community and say, hey, Charlie, or whoever's in the community at the time, say, I noticed I have AdSense ads showing alongside Ezoic ones. I need to make sure that gets settled, and we can go through and fix that for you. And as we say that, this is now solved. So, excuse me, Code Joe, you should be all set. I can double check your domain for you right now because I have time. Cool. I can answer your question just in a second, Shoko. Hopefully I said that right. But greetings, Charlie. Happy seeing you here. I'm happy to see you here as well. I appreciate you stopping in. Not a question though, but this November's EPMB has really been worrisome. I hope we will soon see a better change. Last month, an average EPMB of $6. This month, it has gone down to $3. So Shoko, if it's okay, if you want to drop your domain down in the comment section, I can actually try to figure out what is happening right now. But again, if we want to take a quick look at our ad revenue index, we can actually see something that I flagged on Tuesday. But that could be the explanation for this. Oh, awesome! Thanks for dropping that down below. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. What am I doing? Sorry. So if we actually want to look at November for this year, right as November started, it was pretty average, but then we did see this kind of dip over the past couple of days, which is the kind of the lowest it's been in the past couple of weeks. So that could for sure be an explanation as to why 44 and 45. But again, if you guys are seeing, that kind of ruins my hope. Well, if we look at last year, kind of does the same thing. It was a little bit higher, but the economy really started to jump towards the holiday season. So while this dip is a little weird, especially compared to last year, this hump will definitely be replicated again this year. I don't know if it's to the full extent as it was last year, but you'll see it kind of as the economy starts to get a little bit more money dumped into it. But cool. Let me. Is it okay if I go through and share your screen with you or share your site? Shoko, that'd be awesome. Adrian, welcome back. He says, hi, Charlie. Welcome back. I'm happy to have you here. Great to see you again as well. Cool. Shoko said, yes, please. Cool. Let me go through this and see what I can find. Let me pull it up for you. I don't have subtitles for this, unfortunately. I really, really wish I did. I was actually looking for this recently, but I don't have subtitles enabled for this yet. It's not a feature that's available through StreamYard or YouTube, which is unfortunate. But I can see what I can kind of do for you. trying to see if there's anything I'm missing here in terms of that. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have subtitles for this yet. But if you want to drop a question down here, I'll be more than happy to answer it to the best of my ability, and I can also type something out in the comment section to help answer that. Let me pull up your site for you, Toko. Wow, the revenue has been really, really good for you recently. This is amazing to see, Shoko, and I'm so happy for you. This is beautiful. This is amazing. $8,000 earned in the past 30 days. That's incredible. Cool. Okay, I have this pulled up. So let me share my screen. The first thing I'm noticing is your LCP scores, and I feel like we've looked at this page together before, and I don't recall your setting your LCP scores being this low. Again, remember when I see LCP, the first thing I'm going to look at is your cash. Cash looks amazing. No issues with that. But let's just go into this just a little bit. So it looks like you are using Jetpack. If you are using Jetpack, I would highly consider removing it. It can create a lot of issues, especially in terms of reporting. It doesn't seem to be causing any issues with the reporting, thank God, which is great. But yeah, we'll see. So Slick, WP code, insert headers, footers, code snippets. So if any of these are not essential to your setup, I would for sure remove them, especially these two, probably reCAPTCHA as well. I forget how you're integrated. Oh, your name server integrated, which means you're integrated through our cloud, which means you do have access to the basic security needed. Kojo, yes, sorry, I was just reading your comment below. I already completed this for you, so you're all set there. I definitely did that. Adrian, I know. And I don't have subtitles available for this, unfortunately. But I can work on. I mean, I can see what I can do there, but I don't think it's an option as of right now. So the scores are going up for LCP a little bit. I want to actually see the worst pages. Maybe you have like a massive image that's not being optimized on the top of every page. But let's actually test this in the Ezoic lab. Again, this is not exactly correlated with EPMV and earnings, but it does come into the equation of user experience because speed is key. But I will go into your ad settings. I'll look at some of your placeholder setups and really get this dialed in for you. I know this is rather a bigger site, so I don't want to make a ton of changes, especially because you have an account manager. But yeah, this is just amazing to see, and I'm really happy about these results you have so far. So as you guys can see, it's gonna flag the element that's causing the most issues, which is gonna be the H1. Let's copy this. Let's actually just see the page itself. Oops. Not into Google. Oh, that's the issue. Oops. Cool. So the H1 element here is going to be the biggest hindrance to speed. And especially if we're talking about LCP, I would go ahead and for sure, I would remove, this is probably going to be the biggest help to site speed or to your LCP scores right here, preload background images. That's going to be essential. This will basically, and they're already being served via WebP, which is beautiful. But then enabling remove unused CSS and minify CSS will for sure help with scores. If you do enable these settings, the one thing that's very, very important to do before is to actually preview all your pages to make sure that enabling those settings does not create any issues with your current pages. So that's kind of what I would look for originally. Let's find your H1. I'm assuming it's going to be this one here, your H1. Okay. Oh, here, a theme header, dark. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to see what exactly the H1 was, but that makes sense because this is rather a larger image. But then again, enabling those settings that aren't enabled here will for sure help, but I just want to make sure that you do preview your page before you go in and actually make those changes. So let's actually go through and find your top landing page now. I was going to do a little placeholder check on that, but I guess before I should do that, let's check out your Ezoic ad settings to make sure that's all dialed in. So look, we have, 34 placeholders total. That's beautiful. That's awesome. Your optimization goals are revenue focused. That's okay. That's still awesome. You have native ad units enabled, vignettes enabled, auto. You have AI enhanced on, anchor ads, sticky sidebar, floating video, beta. That's perfect. That's a beautiful setup. Let's see if you were using AdSense before. It looks like you were. You can see they have AdSense mediation enabled. Just kind of like a little bit of a step back here, you'll see that they do have mediation earnings showing here. And then below, if you guys are premium like Interez is, you can see the premium revenue here as well. It does look like Ezoic is winning a lot of these bids, which is awesome to see. But it goes to show that enabling mediation, regardless of your size, will help out a good bit. The next thing I want to look at is the actual, I wanted to find your top landing pages first, and then I wanted to look at the placeholder setup. Cool, let's go here. I'm gonna find the Chrome extension. I'm going to activate placeholders so I can see exactly what the setup looks like right now. So we have two options so if you guys see two placeholders that are the same, that's totally okay. Basically how the ad tester works is it'll find the location that is better for user experience and for revenue, and it'll continue to test those. So having two of the same is okay. It's not going to show an ad here and an ad here. It's going to show just one of the other. And then the one that performs better over time, it'll continue to show. So we have a native sidebar top, which is okay. We have under the page title right here, which is awesome. Featured ad in content 1. We have an AI placeholder down here at the bottom, which is okay. Under first paragraph, in content 4, you have your video ad. You have your floating video ad now down here. Maybe there's potential for another placeholder right here, but this looks great still. Nice long article. This is awesome. This is so good to see, Shoka. You have a sidebar bottom here. Again, I don't want to make these changes on because this is a bigger site, so I don't want to be kind of messing with that. You have another native ad, but this down sidebar should probably be added to the bottom of this here, opposed to in this section here, so it doesn't create this weird look. But I'm assuming an ad won't fill there because it's probably not performing well, but let's just double check. So, but in general, this setup looks really good. This is an awesome, an awesome placeholder setup. Sometimes if you were to change the way this page works, and if this content were to stay at the top of the page, you could actually have another sidebar ad floating at the bottom here. But because the video's here, this works well. Cool, yeah. So we don't have an ad filling here. Here's our native ad, bottom of the page, and we have like our bottom of the page floating ad. So again, Interez, this looks awesome. Let's check out this page as well, just while we're at it. Cool. Same to top of top of the page ads we have here. Setup is going to look the same in the sidebar because they're adding it to the same div or element. Cool. This looks great. Again, this one again could probably be removed. I won't delete it, but like if you go to delete, you'll basically see, okay, it's generating 0% of your revenue, which means this probably isn't being tested. Again, I'm not going to delete it. If you guys are sitting there thinking, like, should I be deleting placeholders? It's actually a really bad practice to do it unless it is like a placeholder you did not want to add. But each placeholder individually actually carries valuable data that our AI is using in order to test your pages. So if you are deleting placeholders, you are deleting valuable data for our AI to learn. Adrian, let me pull up yours again. I know your domain. But Shoko, I mean, I apologize if I'm butchering that. If your name, I do apologize. But I just want to say, congrats on the success so far. It seems that the premium has been doing really well for you. Mediation is working. It looks like Michael onboarded you. Paul is your account manager. You're in really good hands. You really are. Cool. Let me pull up this one. Adrian, is it okay if I share your domain? If I share my screen with your domain, it's totally okay if not. But just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to share my screen and kind of give you the same rundown that I just did there for Intereds. Adrian, let me know if it's okay if I can share my screen. I'm taking a look at it right now. I'm looking at your Brazil setup page, but I don't want to share your screen. Excuse me, I don't want to share my screen if it's not okay with you. But the first thing I'm noticing, Adrian, is that your sidebar, I would probably add a mid sidebar placeholder between your recent comments and some of those articles on the side. Also, the bottom of the sidebar at the very bottom it's a static placeholder. I would actually change this to a floating, so that way when I do go below the fold of the page and I continue to scroll, that sidebar ad will stay in my viewability. This will help drive up revenue a little bit. Okay, hopefully I did. But yeah, of course, I'm happy to explain that. Honestly, the setup looks really good. It looks really dialed in. But yeah, Adrian, I still didn't see it yet, but I would say, so I'm not going to share my screen, but I would say the best first thing you could do right now to actually help with revenue is actually to change that sidebar bottom to a sidebar floating. Let me go through some of your ad settings right now. If any of you guys are inclined, or if any of you guys are enjoying your experience either with me or with Ezoic, it would be really, really beneficial if you guys could go to the link I just sent in the comment section and just leave, a positive review for us. It'll go a really long way, and we would really appreciate it. Again, just something honest and something that, if you are having a really good experience, this would benefit us as a lot as well. So if you were to go to that Trustpilot link I just sent, I'll leave it up for a little bit. We would really, really appreciate that. And I would give you a big hug if I could. Adrian, if I still have you here with me, is it all right if I share your screen? Because there's actually a couple things in here that I wanted to share with everyone. That'll be pretty cool to see. Interez, actually, I have a question for you as well. Now that you are kind of at where you are in your publishing world or career, I would say, what is something that you would really focus on kind of now that you have, a well-established site? Is it just going to be continue to produce content, continue to work on outreach? Especially, this is important for, some of these other Access Now publishers that don't have as well of an established website. What is something that A, you would suggest Access Now publishers to work on, and B, something that you're working on right now? Adrian, you can also turn on beta formats. That'll help you a lot with some of your earnings. You have AdSense enabled. That's beautiful. You don't have any mediation earnings yet. Good question. Let me see here. Is it possible to see our display ad revenue versus video ad revenue? So some of the actual revenue reports, are going to be part of our Ezoic Pro plan. So you can see specific placeholders and locations and sizes that are performing. We'll call that yield data. That's what the report is called. But let me see if you can actually see. So there is a Humix report. So if you're running your videos through Humix, you can actually see the report right there. But also, I'll send the link in the comment section so you can actually just pull it up for yourself. That's where you can see some of the video revenue right there. And then, of course, you can obviously just analyze that in comparison to what you see in the total revenue. Yeah, let's see. But you can also just go to your actual Humix page and you can see your video earnings there. I'll send that as well in the comment section. But yeah, that's actually probably a good report to add. I can put a little request in for that. Great question here, Trendy. Hey, Charlie. First off, I'm doing well. I appreciate you asking. That's really nice of you. How are you doing as well? Hopefully well. I have a question about Leap. Remove unused CSS always makes my menu and search bar to stop working in the main page only. I don't know how to exclude them. So I can actually show you how to do this. Could you remind me your domain name? For some reason, I'm blanking on it. If not, I can just pull up another domain and show you from there. Ah, that's right. Is it okay if I share my screen, Trendy? Is that all right? Cool. He said it's okay. Cool. Thank you for letting me share. Let me pull it up. I can show you how to turn off ads for a specific page. There's actually a couple ways we can do this. We can either do it through the Chrome extension, or we can do it through the disable ads per page app. I can show you how to actually do both of those right after this. But let's actually troubleshoot this. So I'm going to show you guys kind of how I would do this myself. Let me share my screen. Here's the infinite loop. Cool. So let's actually go. Well, let's see first if this feature is enabled. So change settings. They said, what was the remove unused CSS? So remove unused CSS is currently on, which means this home page should not work. He said the menu, my menu and search bar stopped working on the main page. Okay, so menu. I'm going to translate this to English just so I can see. So the menu seems to be working for me now. Let's see if the search is working as well. So it looks like I mean, I don't know if it was actually the search I looked was bad, but the search and the main menu seem to be working right now, which is a good thing. Oh, on phone only. Okay, that makes sense. Let's go back to the home page. Let's inspect this. Change device. Go Pro. Reload the page. So you guys see. So it looks like the menu is working as well right now. Let me see. Doesn't look like I can get the search bar to work. Okay, so okay, there we go. So it looks like the search bar is actually working as well. But the one thing that I would do if I were you, and I was like, hey, I wonder if this is actually an error. So if I was curious if Leap was causing this issue, like remove unused CSS as you were saying, what I would add to the end of the UR is question mark site speed underscore preview equals -1. This will basically access the page bypassing Leap or like with Leap off. So if I were to add this parameter right here to the end of the URL and then this were to work, then we could for sure say that Leap was the issue of this. And let's actually wanted to see something else. Oops. Oops. Okay, so it looks like these, I wanted to see if these icons were working as well because they weren't loading originally, but it does look like they are working all right. I don't love how this kind of comes into play here, overlaps like that, but when I loaded the page a second time, that wasn't happening. So I'm not sure if it's just bad cache or what. Similar to how I showed you guys that question mark site speed, I can also do question mark no cache, and this will access a page bypassing cache, which will be a really good troubleshooting step you guys can do on your end. Really good question. So let me show you how to do this. There's 2 ways that we can do this, and I won't actually do it because this is someone else's domain. But that's a great question. This is one we get a lot, so I feel like this might benefit you and a couple other people. Let me just pull up this domain so you guys can check it out. So again, there's 2 ways I can do this. I want to show you the first way. I would actually do this. So, share my screen. Duh. So when I'm actually, let's say, navigation publications. Let's say this is the page that I didn't want ads to show. So I was like, you know what? I just don't want ads to show. All right, this isn't a good example. This one's a little bit longer. Cool. So if I'm actually on the page itself, what I could do, which isn't the fastest way to do it, I could actually activate the placeholders using the Chrome extension, just like I did here. So they should be still this is probably from the last domain. Let's give it a second for this page to load again. The Chrome extension is being a little funky because I do have one that we're kind of testing some newer things on, which is probably why I'm seeing this. I'm kind of beta testing some of these new Chrome extensions. So this won't be an issue for you guys. It's just for me, but which is also why I am still testing it because it doesn't seem to be quite ready yet. All right, here we go. So if I were on the page and let's say it was a shorter one like this, what I could actually do with the Chrome extension enabled is I can actually click on the name of the placeholder here and I can do don't show on this page, right? So if I click don't show on this page, it'll not show on this URL only. If I hit don't show in this directory, it won't show on anything that precedes this URL right here, which won't be the best use case. And again, I can go through all of the placeholders and do that, or you can go to the dashboard, and if you go to the Ezoic ads section, we can do ad restrictions. From ad restrictions, we can do disable ads by page. And then what we could basically do is we could pull up the URL again of the page that we didn't want to show. Well, like this one. So what I could actually do is I could just grab this URL, find this, and I can go new rule, and I'm going to say just for this page, I don't want ads to show here. Oh wait, excluding this. So I would say, I would just add it just with this part right here, and then I would just press create rule, and then no ads would show on that page solely. And that's basically how you could disable ads for a specific page. Oh yes, here's Belle. Here is that for you. When I reapply my domain for Google approval, the domain gets disapproved less than 15 minutes later. Is this a bug or something? Should I contact Ezoic support? So yeah, I for sure would contact Ezoic support so we can actually look into make sure that the domain's getting fully sent into Google. Not only that, but I can give you kind of an analysis of what Google might be flagging. I've seen so many of these denials through Google, unfortunately, that I think I'm really good at actually picking up the things that they are kind of flagging. If you're denied for a reason like navigation or ads showing on a page without user consent, I think I've actually done a really, really good job of actually picking out what Google means by that, because the denial reasons, unfortunately, aren't so literal as they should be. We've kind of flagged out with Google a handful of times. I'm sorry, I'm just a little cold in here. But yeah, I would reach out to us into the community and just tell us exactly what the issue is. And then we can say, hey, this is what Google is denying you for. We can make sure it gets manually submitted. And not only that, I can go through your domain and give my own little analysis of what they could be flagging. But Belle, let me flag this for you. Oh, you got it? Cool. Yeah, so Belle, if you actually add that to the end of the URL and then you don't have any errors or issues anymore, then that's going to be your reason. Or then you can basically say, okay, the reason I'm having these issues is because of Leap in my active settings. And then there is another article I can share with you. That's a really good one that basically goes over all of the common reasons. All the common errors we see and basically how to troubleshoot them. Again, I'm more than happy to do that for you, so you don't have to. That's totally okay. I would love to do that actually. But let me throw this article down in the bottom for you. But yeah, HVA. Simply just go ahead into the community and post it there. I'll give you the community link as well, and then I'll go in there and help you out. So that's the parameter, and this is the link to our community. So it's https://community.ezoic.t/access now onboarding assistance and troubleshooting. Belle, another really, really great question. Oh, Abdullah, sorry, I did not mean to miss your question up here. We've detected a compatibility issue with your domain. Contact us so we can help resolve this. How do I fix this? So I'm not sure if you actually removed your domain name from this comment or if YouTube did it for you. But if you could do me a favor and actually just send your domain name down in the comment section, maybe excluding the .com so YouTube doesn't remove it, because YouTube does do that. And I can simply just pull this up. I can run a compat check myself, and then I can check out your DNS records. And I'm fairly confident that I could solve this on my end. So basically just reach out to us either here, give me your domain name, or ask it down in the community right here, and we can solve that for you within the hour at the latest. It's okay, Bella. I don't know if it's Belle or Belle, but how do I check how a placement is performing? So what you can actually do, I can show you kind of a sneak peek. I don't know if I should be doing this, but I'm going to anyway because you guys are here with me. So I'm going to show you regardless. But it is a feature that's offered through Ezoic Pro. But this is a really good question. So when I'm in the dashboard, it'll be in your analytics tab. And then it'll actually show right here. So you can find yield, yield overview. It'll tell you your ad location, which placeholder, the different ad sizes, your ads per page, your ad density, and things like that. But these yield reports are actually only available for premium partners, which is why it's not working right there. But yeah, it'll be found under yield right here. Yeah, I'm happy to share with you, Belle. Belle, you've had some really good questions, so I'm happy you joined, even if it's late. That's okay. If you have anything else you want me to look into or answer, I'd be more than happy to do that. The things you missed, we kind of talked about the Q4 ad rates that are coming up and kind of the things that we should do to prepare ourselves for Q4. So if you want me to kind of touch on that in a minute, I would love to do that as well. But we were kind of talking about how the ad rates do go through the roof for Q4. And then also it's kind of as expected that when Q1 comes around, it's quite literally the opposite. So if you kind of do see your EPMV drop down a good bit on the 1st of January, it's not anything you're doing wrong. It's nothing to do with you. It's just the ad rates itself. So no need to like sound the alarms and go crazy. Is there a way to view it with a Chrome extension? No. Well, yes and no. I can kind of show you what I mean by that. Not specifically to the placeholder itself, but you can get kind of general information. And I can show you. Let's go to a random page. So what we're actually going to do here, Bell, is we're going to activate the Chrome extension. And then, so this is basically how I would figure this out. Again, be careful when you do this. But if you actually click on the name of it and you press delete, it won't delete it yet, but it'll say, hey, wait a second. Look, this ad unit accounts for 13% of your ad tester revenue. Are you sure you want to delete this unit permanently? Of course, I'm not going to. That'd be a terrible idea, especially of how much revenue this generates. But that is kind of like a loophole to figure out kind of. Oh, wait, I wasn't even sharing my screen. Sorry. Hold on. So again, if I've activated the Chrome extension, and then I click on this here, if I were to go to delete, which I don't want to do, it'll say, look, this ad unit accounts for 13% of your ad tester revenue. Are you sure you want to delete this? And of course I do not, because that's a lot of revenue. It's a great location. And it also stores a lot of valuable data that our AI needs in order to test your pages. So yes and no. Cool. But yeah, I was gonna wrap up this live stream. If you guys have no other questions, I think we covered kind of the things that I wanted to go over. Okay, my challenge is the naming of the placements so I can track them properly. Is there a recommended approach? Yes. So kind of what I like to say, well, my challenge is the naming of the placements so I can track them properly. So if you can, I'm not sharing my screen. I would say the recommended approach is to basically do it as I was done here. Top of the page, so you actually understand that this is top of the page 140. This one is BTC, bottom of the page, bottom of the page 151. Sidebar top. So this little ID right here is what you can actually name it. Excuse me. And then this in the parentheses is actually going to be the type of ad along with this identifier right here. So this number right here will be the clear indicator or the identifier of the placeholder. So you can kind of use this number solely to track the actual placeholders, but then the physical name of them as well. So sidebar bottom, this is in the sidebar bottom. Sidebar floating, this is the one that's actually going to float with the page all the way to the bottom. But again, this is an AI that's not really finding the page properly, but that's totally okay. Let's look at this on another page. If I can. I might have to. I'm not loading. I'm not sure why it's not loading. But I would say focus on the actual name of it and then just use this number right here as the identifier for each placeholder. But then the recommended approach would be, top of the page, under page title, mid content 1, 2, and then you can just do mid content by number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to the bottom. You do a native ad, bottom of the page, sidebar. But then again, all of those placeholders will have unique identifier numbers, which is that last number I kind of showed you in the sequence. Mike says, good afternoon, Charlie. Sorry I'm late for the show. No worries. I was actually just about to wrap things up, unfortunately. But if you have something that you want to ask or if you want me to look into, I'll be more than happy to do that before I log out. If not, you can simply send me an email right after and I'll be more than happy to go through that. I do have a good bit of a couple tasks to do here in the afternoon. So again, Mike, I know you're joining in here late, but I actually was just going to wrap up. So again, if you want me to look into something or just answer it really quickly, I'd be more than happy to do that. But I'm not sure if this time of the day is your guys' preferred time. I usually run them around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that way, because we are pretty far. GY, that's exactly. Oh, Abdullah. So when you actually comment your domain with like the .com, sometimes YouTube will recognize that this is a domain or a URL, and it's actually going to remove the comment. That's just the way YouTube works. Even though I've basically allowed all comments, I've turned off all those settings, they're still going to retract any comment that contains a URL. So if you want to comment something like, look at the comment section now, I'll say something like your domain. I'll exclude, the .com and I'll put a space in the middle of it so I can kind of, so Google wouldn't pick this up. So this is just an example, but like if this was your domain, you could say like, for instance, mine's clutch gear gas. So I would say like clutch gear space gas and exclude the .com. So that way you're not actually showing YouTube that you're adding a URL. I have comments on my domain link. So yeah, if you want to do that, I'll be more than happy to do that. GY says, will you have more of these? It's interesting how you review sites and shows with tips, etc. Learned a lot. So this is exactly why I'm so happy to hold these, because if one person or two people learn kind of how we use the platform, it'll be better for you guys to understand how to use the software in the platform, which is super amazing. But yeah, so I will be running these basically every Tuesday, Thursday. I can even change the days of the weeks, whatever works best for you guys. If you're saying, hey, I actually can't do any on Tuesday, Thursday, could you maybe hold one on Wednesday next week? I'll say absolutely. I'd be more than happy to do that, especially to accommodate with whatever works best for you. But yeah, I do these every Tuesday, Thursday for now. Again, I can change. But I like to just I usually set a small agenda so I can say, hey, these are the kind of the things going on at Ezoic. These are the things kind of going on in the market and the economy. These are the things we should work on. These are some of the new features. I kind of have a different agenda every time. But I'll be more than happy to, share my screen as I've done in the past and then gone through there. Abdullah says, I understand this. Can you check the upper comments? So I'll highlight all of the comments that I have from you so far so I can show you that YouTube removes them. But there's one. The only other ones I see is this one. So see how it says we've detected a compatibility issue with. If this is the comment you're talking about, see how it's going to remove the URL from the comment. So I actually haven't seen it yet. Let me try to search. That works. Thank you. And you wanted me to look into the compatibility issue. That's correct. So that one worked. Thank you for adding that. And Mike, I can also look into your cache really quick to see what's going on here. Cool. And Abdullah, so it looks like you just integrated recently. So part of it was we were just waiting to generate an SSL for you. But it looks like as I was doing that, the SSL has propagated and generated. So your site is now fully set up. It's fully integrated, and you're good to go. So that was as simple as that. So Abdullah, you're all set there. Abdullah, just comment if you want me to set up your ads for you right after I'm done with this live stream. Just simply comment yes, and I'll be more than happy to do that for you. Or if any of the other guys are saying, "Hey, Charlie, I would love my ads set up by you as well," simply just let me know in the comment section, and right after this live stream, I'll go through and dial that in for you. But Mike, let me check out your cache really quick. Yeah. Okay, so Abdullah, I'll definitely check out. I'll set up your ads for you, and Mike, I'll definitely go through and set up yours as well. Okay, so I see your cache has slowly dipped off the last couple days. Not much, but let me see if there's been any cache clearing. No, looks like you've only made changes to. Okay, so you made a bunch of changes to your ad tester, like some placeholders. But that was a couple days ago, but that actually couldn't clear the cache for the page because when you do make those changes, oh, Bella, you would like that as well? Belle, I can try to find your account. Mike, let me just check out your cache settings really quick. That's right, we set them up last time. I think your maximum cache age might be a little low. Belle, can you clarify? Did you want me to set up your ads for you as well? Yes, okay, for sure. I'll be happy to do that for you. Mike, I'll do that for you as well. I'm seeing a good amount of cache misses. Let me see what the main reason is for this. So subsequent calls will be cached. That's a good thing. So basically, Mike, this looks like it's just not enough consistent visits to the same URL from the same server over time. That's the same reason for all of them. So with increased traffic over time coming from the same server will basically increase your cache hit rate. But right now, it's just going to be in terms of numbers of traffic. Cool. Awesome. Before I do wrap this up, I want to make sure that I know Belle's. Belle, did you comment your domain above? Because I'm trying to find your domain so I can go through and actually help with the ad setup, but I don't know your domain and I can't find your account. So if you could somehow just let me know your domain before I sign off here, I would be more than happy to do that. Or Belle, if you're uncomfortable with actually adding your domain in the comment section, I'll just give you my email so you guys can reach out and I can dial that in for you. And you can also keep it private. So here's my email right here. It's cstever@ezoic.com. Mike, I'll definitely go through that as well, go through your setup. But I really wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining. I'm going to run my next one on Tuesday. I might actually have a special guest with me as well on Tuesday. If I do it on Tuesday, I'll have him on Wednesday or Thursday. But I think, Mike, you're the bomb diggity. Best word. But I will have a special guest next week, Mike. So if you want to bring friends or if you want to tell others that, I'll have a special guest, I'll have Terrence with me sometime next week. I'll give you guys an update and send out some emails. But Terrence has basically been, one of the lead PSMs at our company that manages some of the massive accounts. He's a data analyst genie, and he's also looked at, and now he's, head of some of our business intelligence. So he's kind of, he really knows what he's talking about and he knows what he's doing. So I'm probably going to have him on with me sometime next week. We'll create like a really beneficial agenda so we can kind of just give you guys as much information as possible. But I wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining. I love having you guys here. I love you guys all. You guys are the best. I really, really do love doing this. Belle, thanks for coming. I saw a couple new faces today. Abdullah as well. Thank you for making my week. Happy Thursday. Enjoy the rest of it wherever you guys are from. Tomorrow's Friday, so we got to power through Friday, and then it's the weekend. We're almost there. But guys, stay healthy, stay happy. And again, thank you so much for joining, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.